Okay, did you all get that message? Your soul is welcome
Absolutely.
here. Our souls are welcome here because this is a place where love lives. And where love lives, all are welcome. Okay, we'll get this technology going here. Meanwhile, I just look around, you're all looking really good. Great. Okay, we are doing Back to Basics this month. And Lori, I just love it that you chose that reading. And of course, chapter 3 in that big book that she was holding is what we're talking about today. There's a power for good in this universe greater than we are, and we can use it. Mm-hmm. There's a power in this universe greater than you are, and it can use you. We're doing Back to Basics. And I want to do just a little bit of review of what we've done the last few weeks. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about the thing itself. Well, that's not what we're supposed to see. Okay. Let me just look at this for a minute. Okay, there you go. There's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. There's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and it can use you. Okay, now we're to this slide. Okay, good. 2 weeks ago, I talked about the thing itself. Now, the thing itself is one of the things that our founder, Ernest Holmes, called God, or the infinite intelligence, spirit, divine love. I mean, there are so many names for this thing we call God, and the thing itself is one of the names that Ernest Holmes, whose picture is on the back wall there, used. The thing itself is the creative, intelligent presence in all of everything. Everything that is made out of this God stuff. You are made out of this. I am made out of this. That's why love lives here, because we bring it with us. We can never be separated from it. We can never be apart from it. Its blessings are always here for us. Then last week, Reverend Leah, her topic was how it works. And she talked about how, because we're human, everybody here human. Because we're human, we forget. We forget our oneness with the divine. She talked about how we live in this meat suit. I loved that term. I hadn't really heard that. This meat suit. But our truth is that we are spiritual beings walking around in our physical expressions. She talked about how just as there are physical laws, such as gravity, there are spiritual laws. We're going to talk more about that today. One of those spiritual laws is that it is done unto us as we believe. A message that came from the master teacher, a message that has come from Buddha, that message has come from wise ones throughout all time, and probably even before that. She talked about how there's a power for good in the universe, and that this power that we were talking about, this power that's here for us, is here for us. It wants good for us. It wants all of the good that we are open to receive. And she spoke about the importance of prayer, because what prayer does is it helps us remember. It gets us back to the place of remembering our oneness with the divine, remembering that right here where I am, God is. Right here where you are, God is. So this week's topic is what it does. So there was the thing itself, how it works, and this is what it does. The thing itself, God, universal intelligence, what it does is it creates. It creates, it expresses. It's come here to express in and through each of us and all of everything. There's only one substance in the universe. That God stuff. everything is created from an idea in the mind of God. And God pours itself into that idea to show up as all of you amazing beings and everything else we see. Our chairs, our cars, all inventions that were ever made, all improvements, all of the new technology that is coming about for energy, all of this is God expressing in the idea and then in the form. We're immersed in it. We're surrounded by it. We're infused with it. There's no place we can go where we can step away from the amazing Godness that has decided to live as each one of us. This was intentional, folks. I mean, God didn't just happen to show up as Sandy or Dave. I mean, it was planned that way. This is an amazing gift for each one of us. So we're immersed in this formless substance that's just waiting to create wonder and beauty in our lives. But there's that thing about how it is done into us as we believe. We have to have a mold for that. It's kind of like universal Jell-O. And when I picture it, it's red Jell-O, because I always liked red Jell-O. But it has to, if you're going to mold it, you have to put it in something. And it'll stay in whatever kind of mold you put it in if you leave it there long enough. If you put it in the refrigerator and leave it there, it will stay in that mold. And it's kind of like we create these molds. Maybe we come to church on Sunday morning and, we're talking abundance. And so we know that we are abundant. We know that Spirit provides all that we need. So we have this mold of abundance. And then as we go through the week, before the Jell-O sets up, we have a little mold of limitation and scarcity that we poured the Jell-O into, so it's not in the abundance mold anymore. Then we pour it into another mold and another mold. And that's what happens when our minds are untrained. That's what happens when we don't know that as we focus our minds, that what we focus on grows. Just like the seed that you plant. If you plant a carrot seed, you're going to get a carrot. And with our minds being untrained, we don't really have a lot of power to create the kind of life we might want. Because I have a feeling that all of us want magnificent lives filled with love and joy and wonder and abundance and all good things. But since we've come across the teachings of the science of mind and spirit, we're learning. We know that thoughts are things. We know that our thoughts are creative, that our beliefs are creative, that whatever we focus on will grow. We know that as we practice training our thoughts, then Spirit has a chance to live in, through, and as us as the magnificent expressions that it came here to be. Each one of us. Our trained minds are far more powerful than the untrained mind. The trained mind can focus on what it wants long enough to let the Jell-O set up in that mold of wonder or love or success or satisfaction or whatever mold it is that we want to create. And what our teaching does is it teaches us how to use these spiritual laws. Now, Ernest Holmes spoke often of love and law, which is what Lori was reading about from the book. That warmth is the love of God. That warmth is the part that says yes, that wants us to have all of the good that we can take in, all of the good we can stand, all of the good. So there's that love part that has poured itself in. It's like the love part is the Jell-O. It will pour itself in to whatever mold we create. And the law is the part that automatically, we don't know how, automatically turns our mold into the expressions in our life to our relationships, to how much money we have in our bank, in our pocket. Absolutely. So it takes both love and law. It takes that warmth and understanding that that there is a spiritual law. Ernest Holmes calls the law the process whereby our thoughts and beliefs are automatically energized and made manifest. Okay, those are not his exact words. He didn't sound quite like that. The thing itself, God is infinite intelligence. It works through spiritual law to create our experiences in life. That includes how happy we are. The law is used to determine how successful we are, how vibrant and healthy and alive we are, how fulfilled and satisfied we are. And of course, spiritual laws work for us whether we know it or not. When we don't know it, with our untrained minds, we can draw in all sorts of interest. Anybody ever had some interesting things in your life? Right, Yeah, I see some heads nodding. So spiritual laws work for us whether we know the laws or not. It can be kind of like a traffic law. You can't say, "Oh, officer, I knew I was going 100 miles an hour, but I didn't know that the speed limit was 70. Bam, you've got a speeding ticket.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Whether we know the laws or not, they apply to us. We're subject to traffic laws. We're subject to physical laws such as gravity and thermodynamics. We're subject to mathematical and chemical laws. And we are subject to spiritual laws. Now, therein lies the magic. Because we are subject to them, and if we know the spiritual laws, then we can use them. Instead of just drifting through life and taking whatever happens to show up, we have more of a choice about it. We have a choice about the quality of our lives. Now, that doesn't mean we get to control everything around us. It's that we get to be in control. We get to be at choice as to what qualities we will experience, whether it's joy or anger or whatever. Now, but we don't get to control all of the people and things around us, even though sometimes we would like to. An example. Now, I don't think I'm the only one in the room that might like to control what's going on in our government right now. Yeah. You know, whether we want to control it or not, we can't. And if we do try to control it, I mean, I can rant and rave. I have ranted and raved before. Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. I can rant and rave about how somebody isn't doing something that I want them to. And what do I get when I do that? I get more anger. I get more judgment. I mean, I get more judgmental when I let myself go down that rabbit hole. I get more distraught. That's not the kind of quality I want to live my life with. Now, no matter what it is, I can look at it differently because I'm at choice. And so I can choose to say, okay, this might feel like a stretch, but I somehow believe that everything that humanity is experiencing is somehow contributing to our evolution all over the world. Everything that's happening is somehow contributing to our evolution. Now, we have a lot of news. We know what's going on a lot in the world. But statistics show that this is the most peaceful time the world has ever known, even though that's not what we hear. Humanity is evolving. And just as we have challenges in our own lives that allow us to grow, you know, those wonderful growth experiences, humanity is doing that too. Our country is doing it. Other countries are doing it. This is part of the evolution. And when I look at it that way, I can feel a whole lot more peaceful about it. I can feel peaceful enough to be able to allow my heart energy to go out with healing for those making decisions and for those who are hurting, to all who are affected by whatever it is. When I do that, I'm peaceful enough to hear the still, small voice that will tell me if there's something I need to be doing. And then, of course, I need to follow it. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, "The science of mind is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. The concept that we live in a spiritual universe, that God is in, through, around, and for us." God is for you. He also said, "Life always becomes to us the particular thing we need when we believe that it becomes to us that particular thing." I'm going to read that again because life always becomes to us the particular thing we need when we believe that it becomes to us that particular thing. Our belief is what's important here. So, what is it you want or need, desire in your life? And can you believe that it is here for you? Because God is all there is. There's no spot where God is not. Everything is present in this Godness that we are a part of. And so we can never be separate from what we need. Now, we're not always open to it, but we can never be separate from it. As an example, as I was working on this talk, I was thinking, oh God, I need some inspiration. Now, I could either stay with that thought, oh God, I need some inspiration. I need some inspiration. Now, what seed is it I am watering and nurturing there? I need. Yeah, and it's lack, because I need means I don't have it. And so that's what the universe gets to give me more of. The universe is saying, okay, you need inspiration, you don't have it, so you need it. I will just go with that. I will give you more of that, not having inspiration, so you need it. Okay, there you go. We're all set. Yeah. Well, what if instead I cultivated and remembered, because often it's just a process of remembering. I mean, we forget this. I forget this stuff. What if I instead remembered that, wow, God is all there is. Right here, right near, here, right now, always and everywhere. There's never been anything but this one divine energy that contains everything, that contains inspiration. So I cannot be separate from it. Now, as long as I'm thinking that I need it and I don't have it, I can't connect to it, because that's not what I'm believing. But once I remember that, okay, it's right here, right now, what am I going to do with it? I mean, we all remember the bumper stickers that said, what would Jesus do, or what would Buddha do? So I can ask, what would inspiration do? If I'm going to speak or write or pray or act with inspiration, what's that going to look like? What's that going to feel like? How am I going to allow that? And then that inspiration can come through. Now, it works with inspiration, it works with opportunities, it works with money, it works with love, it works with whatever needs any of us have as we walk around in these human bodies. By tuning in with our thoughts and our beliefs and our intentions, we let the universe know just what it is we're open to. Okay, God, I'm ready. Show it to me. Do it through me. Let's go. The law makes molds of our thoughts and beliefs. And that, we make up what it is we're going to be open to. And I love hearing the kids. Don't you just love hearing the kids? Here's what Dr. Fred Vogt said about what God does and what our teaching does. Now, Dr. Vogt was at Mile High Church many years ago, and he was there for many years and did a great deal of growing that church before Dr. Roger took over. So he had a wonderful way with words. He says, we can let it change our lives drastically and dramatically. He's talking about what the law does and what our teaching does. We can let it change our lives drastically and dramatically. We can let it change us, turn us around and face us toward the light. It can provide us with the strength and confidence for the journey of life. It can give us a reason and a purpose for living and a zest and add zest to every experience. Anyone here like more zest?
Yeah.
Zest, let's hear it for zest, right? Mm-hmm. It can eliminate greed, selfishness, hypocrisy, hatred, fear, and frustration, and put us at peace with our God, our fellow men, and ourselves. It can eliminate poverty, illness, and unhappiness from our lives. We can see our problems as the dark side of the moon, needing only the light of truth, the truth of God within us, to dissolve those appearances of problems in our lives into nothingness, the nothingness from which they came. And then that inner light can shine on our pathway more and more until we have a total awareness of our at-one-ment with God and all of life. That's what our teaching can do. That's what these tools of Science of Mind and Spirit can do. Life is here for you. All of the goodness of the universe is here for you, just waiting for us to open up. By having faith that the good we desire is ours, and by continuing to say a deeper and deeper yes to Spirit as it calls us forward, we live lives of magnificence and wonder and joy and health and abundance and delight. So as we close, I want to go back to our affirmation for the week. Let's say this together. My thoughts create my abundant life. Again, my thoughts create my abundant life. So your homework, should you decide to accept it, because this is not grade school, you get to do the homework if you want to, because it's for your own benefit, but you don't have to turn it in. Okay. So your homework, should you decide to accept it, is to work with that affirmation this week. You've got it on that little card. And you can change the word. You can say, my thoughts create my loving life. My thoughts create my whatever. You can change the words anytime. We do these affirmations, but feel free to do them your own way. So your homework is to work with this week. You can say it or write it or think it or read it over and over and over, knowing that it's getting into your consciousness. You can watch your thoughts, and you can see what happens when you think different things, because that's what this teaching is about. It's about experimenting. It's about seeing what works. Believe me, this stuff works. And we get to train our thoughts to open to greater and greater good. Are you up for that?
Yes. Yes.
And we're going to talk more about that next week when our topic is how to use it. Okay. So as practitioners stand with me in high consciousness? Let's take this into prayer. Right here, right now, always and everywhere, there is only that intelligence, that love, that joy, that creative power that is in us and through us and as us. It is for us. It's all around us. It's all that is. There is no spot where God is not. Right here, where we are, God is expressing in its fullness as you and as me. And so knowing that, we remember that we are absolutely blessed. That whatever lack we may have felt, whatever experiences may have been this week, our challenges or our joys, whatever has been going on for us, God has been there all the time. God is still there, and God moves forward with us into this week. And so what I absolutely claim is that we are reminded in clear and delightful ways to open our hearts, to create the molds that we want to have filled, to open, to allow Spirit to express whatever it is that we want, whether it's more joy, more service, more love, more prosperity. And so we open, allowing Spirit to move in, through, and as us. I absolutely know that love lives here and love lives wherever we go. We take it with us. It goes before us. It follows us. It surrounds us. It blesses us. And so as we go into the week, we are blessed. You are blessed. And know that you are an amazing blessing to the world. And so it is.